Stop right there. Answer me this. The 2 letters I gave you, who are they for?
2 letters? Wasn't it 3?
Okay. Well, Paimon's coolest naive expression doesn't appear to be an act.
Hey! What are you trying to say? Wait, what are you trying to say, huh? Huh? Paimon passed a test? Really? Huh? She didn't even realize she was taking one!
You may dispense with your suspicions. The wolf pack has borne witness. They fought against the aberrations that encroached upon this land, and our attackers showed no ability to disguise themselves this time. A familiar scent. Come. I will await you at the usual grounds.
Well, if the boss of Wolvendom has vouched for you, I guess I should apologize for doubting you just now. Sure was. Fortunately, my experience in Nodcry didn't go to waste. Turns out the Wild Hunt all feel the same when you stab them. They didn't stand a chance. Something seems wrong with that old wolf, though. Go on. You should check on him.
Lupus Majoris, not injured. Why so weak? Am I not strong enough?
You are not to blame. With your Iron Claw, you successfully blocked their attacks. However, their assault went beyond the mere physical world. They followed my trail from the distant north across the ley lines. They sought to corrupt the territory I protect. But I shall not let them succeed without a fight. We meet again, human Lupical.
So, are you saying that the Wild Hunt we just got attacked by came all the way from Nodcry to Mondstadt? How is that even possible?
As you know, I stand before you as an incomplete being. I am but one remnant of the god Andreas' soul. The source of this turmoil. I can sense it. It lies in the north. It is the part of me that remains in Nodcry, from whence I came.
Huh? Now Paimon's even more confused. How can you be in 2 places at once?
For many gods, housing a part of their soul within an object is no difficult feat. But those who can perform such delicate partitions as this are rare, even among the gods. The Wolf King, Andreas, was particularly adept in this art. Otherwise, no remnants of his soul would have survived till the present day.
Huh? The bard's back?
Toadif Bard? What are you doing here?
Maybe the god of Animo guided me here. For it appears that someone is in need of a tale from the distant past. And our wolf friend doesn't seem too keen on recounting it himself. Who better than a bard to do the honors? Lord Boreas, do I have your blessing to share this story?
As you wish.
Lupus Majoris wandered the frozen tundra and stumbled into the Seelie Hall. Enchanted by their song, tender as the dawn starlight, and curious about the ways of humankind, the wolf bade farewell to his home and set off for the city to the south. As the high tower crumbled and the fierce winds fell silent, Lupus Majoris, who once had hunted with the storm winds himself, looked within and inquired, was the shelter he provided for humanity really any different from that given by the reclusive king in his tower? The wolf entrusted those under his protection to a new god and quietly returned to the frozen north. There, in a palace long since abandoned by its former master, the great wolf closed his eyes and slept. 500 bitter winters passed, then 500 equally frigid springs. He slumbered undisturbed until a night stumbled in from the cold, just as Lupus Majoris had once done at the Seelie Hall, and awoke him at long last. The night asked the wolf to join him on a journey south, to see once more the land that had all but faded from his memory. The gentle wolf, unwilling to refuse the human's earnest plea, split his soul into two halves and left his home once more. Seeing how the ice and snow had given way to verdant plains, hearing the laughter and song that now filled the once somber city, the aging Lupus Majoris turned to his friend, the god of Animo, and remarked, "So, this is the world the humans dreamed of." Though the night's journey was not yet over, the wolf chose to bid farewell to his companion here. He had written the end to his story. What knowledge he had been gifted flowed into the land. Everything he was, he gave unto the world. Well, that's how a bard would tell the tale. Lord Boreas, is there anything you'd like to add?
There is no need for you to ask that question.
So that's what happened. You returned to Mondstadt with that knight 1,000 years ago, and then, for the sake of the new Mondstadt, you...
You need not feel remorse on my account. That was my answer, my decision. If anyone should feel regret, it is the part of me who remained in Notcry. I fear Andreas has not found peace in his heart even to this day. That is surely why those vile aberrations were able to exploit his weakness, sowing the seeds of all the turbulence that has ensued.
But we followed Boreas' trail in Nodcry. We investigated and discovered no signs of instability.
Andreas should still be slumbering by the lakeside. Perhaps all the recent turmoil in Notcry has had unforeseen consequences. And there's more. I detect another familiar scent from across the ley lines. A scent that reeks of blood.
Oh, the White Knight who became the Bloodstained Knight? The mightiest knight of Boreas? But wasn't he from 500 years ago? You think he's immortal or something?
I remember him as just a man. His lifespan should be no longer than any other of his kind. But before he severed his connection to Boreas, his final destination, it was the ancient kingdom of Conria, as you call it. Beyond that, I know not if he lived or died.
If you want to get to the bottom of this, I'm afraid you'll have to make another trip to Nodcry yourselves. As luck would have it, another old friend of ours just so happens to be free right now. If you ask him nicely, he might give you a lift. That could save you a lot of time on the road.
No wonder I can suddenly sense the east wind's presence.
If even Mondstadt has been affected by the fallout, Nodcry must be in real trouble by now. I hope Varka can handle it.
Varka? Is he in danger?
I believe too many passengers would slow our dear friend down. I fear he only has room to carry one person, along with perhaps a diminutive companion.
All right. Wish it could be me, but I accept that we should send our strongest warrior to fight Nodcry's battles. I'll stay here and deal with any wild hunt that try harassing Mondstadt. It'll be a good chance to try out some new moves.
I stay in Mondstadt too. With Traveler's help, Varka will be safe.
Razor, give me your iron claw. Golden-haired traveler, give this token to the current Knight of Boreas. It is a wolf spirit. It contains my power and thoughts. Though I have given him a piece before, this should bring him new strength.
The Dominator of Wolves once bestowed the power of his soul upon his pack, strengthening their hearts and sharpening their claws and fangs.
But human hearts and flesh cannot bear the soul of a wolf directly. It would be akin to forcefully merging a human and a wolf into one being. They would descend into chaos. To prevent the entanglement of souls, the most I can do is temporarily house my power and thoughts within claws and fangs wrought of steel. Although, truth be told, that knight does not lack for power. What he needs more is the thoughts within. But I shall leave this for him to explain. The Great Wolf King of the North remains strong for now. Besides, do I not have the protection of my Lupacol?
I will protect Lupacol. The North and Varka, I leave to you.
Just give me the word whenever you're ready.
I can read Varka's letter. I will try my best to write a reply.
Wolf's claws make poor instruments for writing human words. But that token will suffice to convey my thoughts.
I sure didn't expect my experience fighting the wild-hunted Nodcry to come in handy back here in Mondstadt. Almost makes me wonder if this was the reason I was sent back. Also, how come that bard knows so much, and what was he doing at the Thousand Winds Temple? Well, whatever. I don't really care. As long as I get to do some fighting. I'm looking forward to trading blows with Lupus Majoris when he's fully recovered. I bet he'll wipe the floor with me.
Any questions before you set off? Better ask now. You'll probably have to hit the ground running when you get to Nodcry. The root of this turmoil lies with the remnant soul that Andreas, Dominator of Wolves and God of the North Wind, left in Nodcry. He once left Nodcry and braved the blizzards to confront the God of Storms and claim the right to rule. Yet even as the tower fell, he chose to abandon his claim. Instead, he returned to the north and slumbered for 1,000 years before finally journeying back, under the name of Boreas, with the first Knight of Boreas to witness the new face of Mondstadt. When the wolf spirit could no longer maintain his physical form, Boreas chose to pour his power into the ley lines. With that, he became the North Wind of Mondstadt, as he is still known to this day. 500 years ago, Roland seemed destined to become the mightiest Knight of Boreas ever to have lived. But he was too pure of heart. He believed firmly in his own ideals of chivalry, vowing to eliminate all injustice from the world. But the world had never been perfect and pure, nor would it ever be. Neither his mentor, the wolf pup Rostam, nor the Grand Master, known as the Lion of Light, could persuade him to temper his obsession. But what was the scent that reeks of blood that Lupus Majoris sensed? And what is its connection to Conria and the Abyss? Perhaps you will uncover the truth in Nodcry. The soul of a wolf is as unyielding as ice, and Andreas is a master of molding and shaping it. His people once drew great strength and wisdom from the wolf spirit. But human hearts and flesh cannot contain the soul of a god. Attempting to place the wolf spirit in a human vessel would slowly devour their sense of self, even if Lupus Majoris did not intend for that to happen. That's why Lupus Majoris developed the technique of imbuing weapons with his soul. It is his way of blessing his human Lupical with the wolf spirit's protection. In fact, there is an ancient song that tells this tale. A weapon once of common iron, now through friendship turned divine. Twixt man and wolf a bond was made, a power born within the blade. As much as he might claim not to accept humans, his actions sing a different tune. Oh, but keep that little observation between us, will you? All right, over to you, Dvalin.
The Knight of Boreas awaits below. We must part ways here. Barbatos and I have other plans. We will meet you again later.
All right. Hey, wait. How are we getting down?
Hold the line! The enemy's on the brink of collapse!
Grandmaster! It's...
Haha! Reinforcements! It's about time!
And I'm on too!
We're just about hanging in there. Most of their grunts are taken care of now. Their leader's gonna have to make a decision soon. Fight or flight? What will it be, mightiest Knight of Boreas?
As expected, this hastily summoned Wild Hunt horde is nothing but a disorganized rabble. A mere shadow of the forces gathered by the Rahir of Solmari. But they have served their purpose. I now understand your tactics, and you, in turn, understand mine. This is fair. This is the way of chivalry. Farewell, heir to the knighthood of Boreas. Whether you choose to resist me or not, I shall set right the injustices of this world. In the name of the blood-stained knight.
Guess they're retreating for now.
So that Wolf of the North lookalike, that was Andreas? But why would he be leading the Wild Hunt? And why was he talking about the Bloodstained Knight? Ugh, forget that. We can save the details for later. He was the enemy boss, right? Are we just gonna let him get away?
Ah, there's no point chasing after him. We've crossed blades already, and it ended in a stalemate. Right now, there's nothing we could do about him. True. We're still not certain of his true identity, but whether he's a god corrupted by the Abyss or a legendary knight, killing him might be just about possible, especially now that you're here. The difficult part is, we can't kill him right now.
Huh? What do you mean? Is he immortal or something?
No. Judging from our skirmishes so far, I don't think he's got any special abilities of that caliber. Nor does he have the ridiculous level of power wielded by the Five Sinners. But, compared to Rerir, our current foe clearly has a better understanding of how to exploit Nodcry to his advantage, particularly when it comes to Andrias' remnant soul. Exactly. Sounds like you realize what the crux of the issue is. I managed to cut off a sample from our foe, which Albedo and Durin are analyzing as we speak. Meanwhile, our other allies should be making their way home from their own battles by now. Let's discuss this further when they're back. We still have some big challenges ahead before this expedition can finally be declared a victory.
Huh? Flint's! Paimon thought the Lightkeeper's rep would be Iqua or Nikita.
You're quite right. However, Itlua and Nikita are both busy organizing the Ratniki's region-wide response to the recent attacks. And since I'm well acquainted with everyone else here, I was the one they recommended to attend the meeting. Sometimes you don't get a choice when there might be consequences down the line.
Short distance propulsion module on cooldown. 15 minutes until next departure. Switching to chat mode. Hello there, Paimon, traveler. Varka placed a sizable order with the Clink Clink Krumkake craft shop. I know is hard at work producing the strategic reserve, while I am handling the deliveries. Secondly, I am also here to attend the meeting in her place.
The meeting is probably going to be in the biggest tent, right? Looks like a bunch of people are there already. Why don't we go chat with them?
Hey, good to see you again. Oh, Boss Sneff asked me to pass on a message. She went to see Lauma and Columbina at the Frost Moon Scions. Apparently, there haven't been any changes to that space the Rahir of Solnari's in.
That means the recent wild hunt attacks have nothing to do with Rerir, right? Oh, that's a relief. Paimon doesn't fancy facing him again.
They're keeping a close watch on it just in case. With so many moon experts on the case, we're in pretty safe hands, huh? Oh yeah, Lauma and Columbina asked me to pass on a message too. Focus on the enemy you are facing. The moon will protect you all. You know something? These Knights of Favonius are paying me a pretty nice sum to deliver a few simple messages. Varka's a generous guy.
Hey, Honorary Knight. Looks like pretty much everyone's here. Albedo and Durin are just wrapping up their analysis. You want to wait for them here? Great. While we're waiting, could you update me on the situation in Mondstadt? And that's where things stand. The Wild Hunt is no longer under the Rahir of Solnari's control, but it has been reborn from the ashes and is now launching widespread attacks. Intel from the Frost Moon Scions and the Curatorium of Secrets corroborates this. No disturbances have been detected in the space where Rerir resides. What we are facing here is a completely new foe.
Summarizing current situation. To confirm, the present leader of the Wild Hunt is the creature resembling a wolf. Andrias, god of the North Wind.
More precisely, it's the external will that has seized control of Andrias' spirit, namely Roland, the Bloodstained Knight.
Whoa. Hold on. I'm completely lost. Isn't Roland some Mondstadter from like 500 years ago? How'd he suddenly get wrapped up with a god from 1,000 years in the past and the present-day Wild Hunt?
Allow us to explain that part. Are you familiar with compensation mechanisms? When an organism sustains damage, relevant tissues will undergo changes to offset the loss of function. For example, when one kidney is damaged, the other will be strengthened to compensate. Or, when a main artery is blocked, the collateral vessels become more active. Similarly, when the Wild Hunt lost their leader, the Abyss harnessed the memories that flow throughout the ley lines to fashion a new one, fit for the present circumstances. That new leader is a mirror image of Roland, the Bloodstained Knight.
Right. No matter how strong the compensation is, it will never quite match the functionality of the original organ. The Roland replica can't possibly imitate Barir's overwhelming power, nor his ability to disguise himself as others. So, the Abyss made use of the connection between Roland and Boreas to compensate for this lack of power.
The replica corrupted and took control of Andreas as he slumbered by the bank of Amsvartnir, ultimately manifesting as the giant beast that you all witnessed. However, exactly why the Abyss chose Roland to mimic, and indeed how it was able to do so, remains unclear.
I guess he must have gotten caught up with the Abyss or Nodcry somehow during his wanderings through Tevat. But we can keep those questions on the back burner.
Okay, Paimon gets all that, but what did you mean when you said we can't kill him right now?
We can't kill him right now because a dead god may prove more dangerous than a living one. From intelligence gathered during the expedition, we have reason to believe that the power released when a god is felled can have catastrophic consequences for us mortals. Worse still, the wrath that remains after a god's passing becomes a source of endless turmoil. Once god remains contaminate the land, they will persist for thousands of years. This land has already been ravaged by the Wild Hunt. If we add god remains to the mix, it'd be like adding salt to an open wound, placing everyone who lives here in perilous danger.
Query. While I can indeed find records of disasters caused by god remains in my database, there also appear to be cases of gods dying naturally with no ill effects. In that land, the passing of the Pyro-Archon's flame is a common occurrence throughout history, and even the part of Andreas who remains in Mondstadt has experienced death once before, has he not?
Great question. Glad you asked. Honorary Knight, you said Lupus Boreas gave you a token to pass on to me? Please, present it now. It should help explain things faster. Come forth, Boreas!
This form has come to the end of its time. I'm afraid I can accompany you no further on your journey. My soul will fall into silence, and my power will flow into the ley lines of this land. Perhaps this is all that a wolf can hope to do for humankind. Do not grieve for me, for this is the end I have chosen. Instead, remember that one day, your wandering too must come to an end. Where and when shall that be? A final wish before I slumber. Sing me a song. That melody you so often hummed in the taverns.
You saw it too. You must have keen powers of perception. Not that it surprises me. That was Boreas' final thoughts before merging with the ley lines. It's the reason Mondstadt remains unharmed by his god remains. In his final moments, he made a choice to give everything he was to the ley lines. All to protect Mondstadt from harm.
Sounds like Andreas spent thousands of years searching for his place in the world, too.
Yes. And now our task is to return the answer he found, the decision he made, to Andreas' heart. Only then can he break free from the corruption and control of the Abyss, and make that decision once more.
I see. I would say that planting thoughts inside the mind of a god sounds a little far-fetched, but since it was his own wish to begin with, it sounds feasible to me.
Wait, we already have a perfect solution? Then why are we even having this meeting? Let's go do this thing!
Ha ha ha. If only it were that simple. Unfortunately, this one thought alone is unlikely to be powerful enough to break through the Abyss's control and reach Andreas' heart. We need to find a way to make the thought within this sword stronger and more resilient.
For now, Boreas needs all his remaining strength to fight against the abyssal corruption to Mondstadt's ley lines. He can't afford to send us any more of his power. However, since his form was unstable during his journey with the first Knight of Boreas, many wolf spirit fragments were left behind along the way. If we can collect those fragments, we can use them to strengthen the decision to merge with the ley lines.
So we need to retrace his steps and look for random fragments? But they could be anywhere between Nodcry and Mondstadt. It'll be like looking for a needle in a haystack.
You don't need to worry about that. There's a few fragments left to gather in Nodcry, but apart from that, most of them are already inside this sword. I've been collecting them during the whole expedition.
Huh? Wait, really?
I mean, it's an expedition, not a stroll in the park. Each step of the way, we've been hard at work planning for every possible contingency. Not just the wild hunt in the Abyss, but ancient gods remaining in Nodcry.
Sounds like this plan was a long time in the making. It's almost as if you foresaw the future.
As a matter of fact, I did. I caught a glimpse of fate's reflection. But I can't take credit for it. It was all thanks to the help of a few friends. Still, all I foresaw was that an abyssal calamity was brewing in the north. Had I known more, we could have saved a lot of energy. Instead, we've had to make best guesses, prepare for every possible scenario. If all that preparation went to waste, all the better for it. But anything that proved useful, we knew we'd be grateful for down the line. Sure is. Just one crucial step remains. We need to gather the last few wolf spirit fragments scattered around Nodcry, and use them to make the thought within this sword as strong as it can possibly be. According to what Boreas told me before we left Mondstadt, his form was at its most unstable at the beginning of his journey. That means the fragments here should be the most powerful ones. But of course, we've been tied up fighting battles since the day we set foot in Nodcry. First with the Wild Hunt, then with the Doctor. So, it wasn't until recently that we were finally able to confirm the status of the Wolf Spirit fragments. We now know there are 3 left to find.
Okay, so 3 more mini expeditions to go.
I managed to gather 1 fragment before Roland reappeared. I also have a confirmed location for the second, which I'll take care of in short order. As for the 3rd fragment, we've identified a general search area to focus on, but we'll need all hands on deck to pinpoint the exact location. The final snag is that since our foe is a replica of Roland, he too will be aware of Andreas' history. He's sure to try and sabotage our plans by any means at his disposal. So everyone needs to bring their A game.
With our foe being from Mondstadt, it's our duty as Mondstadters to defeat him.
And since the Wild Hunt is involved, the Lightkeepers will provide their full support.
The Clink Clink Krumkake craft shop will also help in any way we can.
So what do they need me here for? Wait, I think Maybe I signed a contract at some point. Didn't exactly scrutinize it, though. I mean, who actually reads those things anyway, right?
Ah, great. Knew I could count on you all. Lastly, our friend from the Curatorium of Secrets will provide intel and relay battlefield communications. Looking at you, Yehoda.
So, you'll be darting back and forth across the battlefield, dodging the wild hunt and the shadow of an ancient god. I'm impressed by your courage, Miss Yehoda.
Rating for Yehoda updated. Higher quality ingredients will be used to prepare your future meals.
Darn it! I should have known this payday wouldn't come that easy.
I'll deal with the second wolf spirit fragment, which we already know the location of. The moment you make any progress with Fragment 3, be sure to give me an update. Traveler, could you join me in retrieving Fragment 2? I have a feeling that your unique constitution might come in handy. All right, time is of the essence. Let's move out, people. Dismissed!
Speaking of contingency plans, I now recall that Varka also made a contingency plan when he asked me to deliver that letter. Perhaps I should ask Aino to prepare some additional backup modules for me.
Remnant fragments of an ancient god. Thoughts stored inside a blade. Maybe I'm overthinking this, but I suspect there is more to Mr. Varka's plan than what he's revealed to us so far. Then again, the enemy can harness the Wild Hunt to spy on us wherever we go. As our commander, I'm sure he has his reasons for choosing not to tell us everything.
Yehoda, you dummy! You took the stupid job of your own free will! Crying isn't gonna get you out of it.